The Hawks boys had a great time doing that with the Navy. But back onto this week's footy, and the Swans and Port Adelaide had a fantastic game. It was probably the game of the round, first versus third, and it lived up to all expectations. It was a little bit wet. We saw a little bit of fancy stuff from both teams. And I think what we saw at the start of the game was just two really, really good pressure sides with a little bit of form and confidence. And both teams got off to very good starts. It was a tough game. Some big hits, some good scoring. There's Matty White kicking a goal from outside 50 there. And it was one of those games where you're not sure what you're going to get, especially from Port Adelaide, but they've answered all critics so far. Adam Goods back to some very good footy. Jared McVeigh has been traditionally a defender the last couple of years and has played forward on the weekend and kicked a couple of goals. Chad Wingard did his normal thing, had around 20 touches, kicked a couple of goals. He's almost unstoppable at the moment. He's just in fantastic form. A little bit of very clever around the goals, as we know. Buddy Franklin, it was his show, particularly late in the game. He started with 0 goals for before he kicked the last 5 Sydney goals of the game to get them across the line. The 3 things I learnt. Port are the real deal. They've had a lot of challenges this year, and I think some people are thinking, are they legitimate? You come out of that game, even though they lost by 4 points, they had a chance with 17 seconds to go. You have to say they are legitimate. Also, stats count for little. Port Adelaide won the clearances, the contested possessions, the inside 50 marks, but they lost the game. So sometimes you have to throw those things out the window. And Buddy has got his strut back, his number 3. He was fantastic to watch, as I mentioned. Started a little bit slowly with around the goals, but I think he had 24 touches, kicked 5 goals. His pressure was fantastic. And this one, he launches from 70, lands 10 centimetres out from goal. And halfway through a last quarter to pull out goals like these was fantastic to watch.
Mitch, I mean, he's been one of the stories of the year, and the length of the contract and all those sorts of things. You know him better than anyone. Is there a chance he might get better than what he's shown at Hawthorn? Because he's starting to play some pretty awesome football, isn't he? As
a footy fan, I hope so. As a Hawthorn player, I hope not. But he did some things in the game yesterday. I hadn't seen him do. The goal that you just saw at the end there, he was on the ground, he jumped up, swung onto the left and kicked the goal. But the speed that he got up off the ground was just something that you don't see from anyone, his height. And it was something that, you know, a couple of weeks ago he's really started to get his contested marking back, and some parts of his game seem to be improving. So it's a scary feature for anyone coming up against the Swans.
Mitch, Brad Abbott had a very consistent year, had 40 touches last night in the game. You've probably done that a couple of times, but how was his game? Was it that good?
Yeah, it was that good. He's probably been known early in his career for being a big, strong body, and the last couple of seasons he's become the hard-running type mid, and he's starting to put it all together. His ball use has really improved the last couple of seasons. 40 possessions, it's hard to play bad with that amount of ball, but on a tight ground, you know, he's very clean and close and just used the ball so well. They had a couple of really, really strong players. Boak played an excellent game as well.
Huge crowd, 3rd biggest home and away crowd ever at the SCG, biggest crowd since Plugger, 41,000. The only negative for both sides after playing well was a couple of injuries. Hanbury also with Hartlett, was it?
Yep, Hanbury hurt his ankle. Looks very, very nasty, but he actually comes back on about 10 minutes later. So hopefully he's not too bad and he'll pull up sore, but I'm sure he'll probably play. Hartlett, a little bit worse, ends up getting subbed out of the game. Doesn't look great for him, but one of those ones that it could be anything from there. It might be some broken, you know, ligaments and things, or it might just be a bit of a sore ankle and some time off the track.
And Pav, an old schoolmate from Sacred Heart, Kane Corns, he just keeps on going. How have you seen his footy at the minute?
Look, it's great, isn't it? I mean, even his story's a fantastic one. Probably a couple of years ago, he probably thought he was done and he wanted to sort of move on. But, yeah, I went to school with Kane and Chad as well. But we shared a lot of sort of memories in cricket and footy as a junior, in junior times. But to see him out there and playing such a consistent brand and obviously getting the footy himself while nullifying the opposition's very good players, it's great to see.
He was supposed to be put out to pasture 2 years ago, wasn't he? He's since
it almost seemed that way, yeah.
Found his form again. An old teammate of his joins us in just a moment. Sean Burgoyne, he's our next guest.